President Buhari today initiates measures to secure the southeast and south-south regions of the country. Tactics and strategy for doing this, they said, was agreed at the Security Council meeting. And governors of the southern region of the country today have asked President Buhari to address the nation on security matters and also banned open grazing across the state. Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye in Lagos. Tonight we'll bring you some of your biggest political stories and what those in authority are doing or saying about the security of lives and property in the country. A matter that has caused a lot of worries for many Nigerians. So sit tight everyone. Within the next half hour or so we'll be bringing you insight into the next steps forward for the nation. So let's begin by telling you the plans of President Buhari for the southeast and south-south regions of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari today approved new security measures for southeast and south-south geopolitical zones of the country to restore peace in the region. The approval comes exactly 2 weeks after the third Security Council meeting chaired by the President was held at the First Lady's Conference Room in the State House. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, as well as the National Security Advisor, Babangida Munguno, both declined to elaborate on the tactics, but told State House correspondents that this new strategy is aimed at changing the war narrative. Take a listen to them.
The Security Council meeting, which has taken place 3 times within the last 11 days, has assessed the security situation in the country, particularly in the southwest and south-south, as it affects law and order, and we have some measures that has been approved by council to take to ensure southeast and south-south. We have some measures which we have outlined, and it has been approved by the council, and we will see how we can change the narrative within the quickest possible means to restore law and order and restore peace in that area. We solicit all law-abiding citizens to work with us to identify and deal with the situation.
On my part, I briefed Council on the enablers of crime and the need to find quick responses with a view to mitigating the growing threats to society. And these enablers I discussed in detail, and Mr. President has already given direction on how to deal with them, specifically issues of drug abuse as propellants for crime, how to make the criminal justice system much more effective, as well as looking at issues of unemployment, which of course the Federal Executive Council had given an approval through previous memos on how to get 100 million people out of poverty. That was also.
So, you heard the NSA and the IGP. As that was happening in Abuja, in Delta State, in South-South region, it appears these governors of the southern region and themselves not waiting from what Abuja is going to give or bring or say. They have come up with ways to resolve some of these issues. So 17 governors today met from the southern states under the aegis of Southern Nigeria Governors Forum. They met in Asaba, the Delta State capital. Top on the agenda is the state of the nation, especially the rising insecurity across the country. Take a listen to the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum and part of their resolutions, Governor Akeredolu.
Criminals and bandits in the southern part of the country has presented a severe security challenge such that citizens are not able to live their normal lives, including pursuing various productive activities, leading to a threat to food supply and general security. Consequently, the meeting resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria. 3. The meeting noted that development and population growth has put pressure on available land and increased the prospect of conflict between migrant herders and local population in the south. Given this scenario, it becomes imperative to enforce the ban on open grazing in the south, including cattle movement to south by foot.
So you heard the Southern, that's a position. The one President Buhari to address, we have a list of those recommendations, some of them the very important ones we have highlighted, and what we'll be discussing tonight is those recommendations. What President Buhari is saying, the focus on the Southeast and the South side. Take a look at what they agreed in Delta State, the governors today, the Southern governors. Part of it is that there's going to be a ban on open grazing across the state. So is it that they've criminalized open grazing in the southern region of the country? If this is their position, that means it's going to be enforceable. We'll look at how that is going to happen. Restriction of cattle movement to the south. That means from any part of the world outside of Nigeria, from the north to the south by foot, is been restricted. President Buhari, to address the nation, they're also asking for a few other issues like urgent and bold step to restructure Nigeria. They're asking for state policing. They're also asking for review of revenue formula in favor of federating units. They're asking federal government to convoke national dialogue and also review of federal security appointments to reflect federal character. These are some of the recommendations now. So tonight, just like we do here on the program, to give you insight so that you can take action as a citizen. I'm being joined by two gentlemen, one an experienced security, respectable and knowledgeable security consultant in the land, and a politician, a member of the House, who are going to be discussing this matter. I'm being joined by a member of the House of Representatives representing Isheyin, Itesiwaju, Kajola, and Wajua Federal Constituency of Oyo State, Honorable Shina Pella. And from Abuja is a knowledgeable retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, Marvel Akpoyibo. Thank you so much, Mr. Akpoyibo. It's good to see you again. It does look like our conversation is looking towards the kinetic and the non-kinetic, the kind of language that is being used lately. So we discuss both areas. Let's begin with the non-kinetic, and let's allow the politician to come in. Honorable Pella, the position tonight of the governors, first and foremost, they're asking President Buhari to address the nation. What do you think about that?
Yes, it is very, very important, you understand, for the president to address the nation, and this is what it does to the citizen. It gives the citizen a hope, that at least the nation is, the president is in control, of the nation, and he has strategies, to protect the citizens of the nation. Don't forget that the first obligation of the government, Section 14, subsection 2B of our Constitution, is the primary obligation of the government is to protect life and property, and the life and welfare of the citizens. And in that provision, there are two words that are used. The first word is shall, which is it is mandatory, and primary means that is the first assignment, of the government. And so at this kind of time, you want to see the president, who is the father of the nation, to say, yes, I have my feet on the ground. We are going through challenges, in the world. We are bound to face challenges. And yes, we are going to rise above our challenges. And this is something that I think it is important as well, to give the citizens, because we are practicing people's government, democracy. So the people too, they have their contribution, to having a successful government. So they have to play their role. And for the citizen to play their role, the government must be able to, rise up and, give that hope. So I think it's high time the president, steps forward to show that you have the control.
So I've had conversations with Nigerians, eminent Nigerians, on the problems and the way to go. When people are saying the president should address the nation, some people say addressing the nation not necessarily having to be on television, or doing the normal address, but sometimes the consultation in groups, in ethnic groups, ethnic divides that he visits and talks to, in what way do you think will be best for the president to address the nation? Is it a national address that we often see on television? Or what kind of psychological effect will you see if, for example, as some people have asked, that president should actually move around?
No, it is not just to move around. It is, yeah, definitely there should be a proper engagement. And when I say proper engagement, you know, I said we are practicing the people's government. And in that line, you must understand the, you know, the key stakeholders that must be fully engaged. You cannot be working on a peace building without getting even the youth involved, because they occupy the largest percentage of our population. You know, you cannot be talking about addressing insecurity in Nigeria today and just, you know, and just rely on the generals. You must be able to engage the professors of security in the universities. You know, these are people that studied security, you know, and you cannot be talking about engaging stakeholders and don't bring in traditional rulers. They play an important role because culture and heritage play an important role in our politics. You cannot be talking about engaging, you know, the nation and don't bring about the clerics, because religion too play an important role. So I support the people that goes with that's proper engagement, you know, with stakeholders, and I think this is the high time for that, for us to make that happen.
All right, let me bring in the very respectable Mavela Koyibo. In your years of policing, I mean, working as a police officer, you know what it means to the civil engagement. Before we talk about what was on the mind of the president or the Security Council when they singled out Southeast and the South-South in their strategy on that meeting today, when they came out to say we're going to have a new agenda for these two regions. But give us a sense of what it will mean should President Buhari address the nation. That factor, that item on the agenda that the governors are asking for, what does it mean?
Well, the decision to address the nation, or the call on Mr. President to address the nation on the current security challenges in Nigeria, is a legitimate call. I think it's a call that is even coming too late. It is the constitutional responsibility of the government, or the federal government for that matter, to ensure the safety and the well-being of its citizens. And there is palpable fear now in the heart of every Nigerian, not only in the Southeast, not only in the Southwest, not only in the South-South. The issues that are raging in Zamfara, in Niger State, and other parts of the northern country, they are also begging for attention. So addressing the nation is, it has to be a holistic address. You know, reassuring Nigerians that he has the capacity to ensure our safety and our security and our well-being. Because in the absence of that, people will begin to lose faith in this nation called Nigeria. I think it's very expedient. And what the governors have come up with, I think is a call for dialogue. I think that was a step in the right direction. Because when you have a problem, and it's a legal problem, you must think outside the box. You must evolve new strategies to deal with that ailment. Otherwise, you just be beaten about the bush. Thank you very much.
All right, let's take a breather. But when we come back, more to discuss, because I'm going to give you a picture of how this nation looks like now with the security challenges that we have. Interestingly, we have a lawmaker, we have a security expert, and we dissect it more for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Security matters get our attention yet again on the program, and we will not cease until we have a solution to it. And let me give you an understanding, perhaps a picture. You know too well what is happening in the country. But take a look at this map, everyone. So these are the major security situations in the country. From the northeast region, where Boko Haram has been a major problem for several years, to the northwest, where banditry and cattle rustling is a major problem. North Central region, in states like Niger State, experiencing some of those issues. To southwest region, where we hear cases of herders-farmer clashes, and to the south region, where you hear cultism, kidnapping, and some killings, random killings. And in the southeast region, where troubling situation of arson and attacks on security formation. That is what you see. But the southern governors today, this is a major move that they made. They say no more open grazing. So tonight, Honorable Shina Pella, member of the House of Representatives, representing Oyo State in the House of Representatives, a member of the APC, and from Abuja is retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, Marvel Akwoyibo. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. Let me get your view on the issue of open grazing.
Yeah.
Your state, Oyo, has a fair share of herders-farmers clashes. So when the governor said there won't be any open grazing, and you cannot, by foot, take cattle across the southern region, what's your view? Is that a good way to go?
It is 100% a good way to go. And the reason for that is, one, open grazing, apart from even insecurity, you know, it causes a lot of accident on the road. And I just experienced like almost, we almost ran into a cattle about 2 days ago when I was traveling myself. And just in the middle of the road, you know, just see, you know, cattle on the road. Apart from even insecurity, is not something that should be done. And at the same time, sometimes we need to begin to develop solutions using what we have at an advantage. Nigeria is a diverse country with, you know, huge land. And I believe that we have, in order for us, you know, to aid the deforestation in Nigeria, then we should be able to go into ranching instead of open grazing. And again, if you look at I was in Morocco with the Nigeria-Morocco Business Council of recent, and we visited, you know, a few business hubs that's into red meat production. And now, even technology, with technology, you can see people doing, engaging in artificial insemination, you know. And if you do that, you have no reason to be, you know, having this ranching, the open grazing thing. It has to be just the ranching. So for me, I think it is a step in the right direction, you know, to fight insecurity in Nigeria, and also for health and safety. It is very, very important for us to start to go in the direction of ranching. We'll be able to make use of the land that we have in abundance. That is our advantage, and we should be able to do that in order to even drive the economy forward.
Let me get Mr. Akwoyibo's thought. Ban on open grazing is part of the recommendations from the governors of the southern region. A part of it is that they're also restricting cattle movement to the south by foot. So how will this happen? Will they have to put this into law, or how do you think in practical steps now, how will they be able to stop this?
Well, the governors have rightly come out to, and very boldly too, to say that they are banning open grazing in the region. And I think they must be commended for this. Because if you have a kind of crisis that is resistant to solution, then you must deal with it from its root. That's exactly what the governors have done. Apart from that, like my brother had just said, to address the issue of insecurity, open grazing should be discouraged at all cost. Nigeria should not be static. We must be dynamic. This is, I mean, there's no nation in this world that is not moving forward. Open grazing is an archaic, very, very archaic mode of rearing cattle. There are better way of bringing rearing cattle. Cattle ranching, it produces more, and it's safer even for the cattle rearers. They stay in the designated location, and they have their water, they have everything they need for their cattle, and the cattle will bring more. They will bring more cattle for them to sell. I think that's a better approach than moving from one place to the other, having clash with farmers. It's not only cow meat that people eat. People eat yam, they eat maize, they eat corn, they eat other food items. So I think it was a step in the right direction. And I'm sure, having said so, they will work out the mechanism for enforcing. And I'm very optimistic that the federal government will give them the backing, because it's a step in the right direction. And if that's the only way to solve this problem, this perennial problem, and then so be it. It should be addressed from its root. And let everybody know that, look, this thing cannot work. It can't work, because Nigeria must survive. Nigeria must stay together as a country. We must not sit down and watch the country disintegrate, insecurity everywhere, suspicion everywhere. You can't travel by road, kidnappers are all over the place. So let us take some decisive actions to address these issues, so that the citizens can once again develop confidence in the system.
Let's take a look at this, the list of the recommendations. I'll allow my two guests also to weigh in. Pat, we've spoken, you've discussed the issue of President Buhari to addressing the nation as part of the recommendations. You've also spoken about the ban on open grazing. Another issue they're asking the president to do is an urgent and bold step to restructure Nigeria.
That's quite fine.
Honorable.
Yeah.
How do we go about it? Because that word restructure is being used and used differently by different. It means different.
Even in a layman's language, when something is not working, you restructure. But I always identify a big problem that we have in Nigeria, and it affects us as the people. It affects the government, and it affects the governor as well. That is, most of the time we believe in resolving edicts by cutting our head off. That is why I would never support, the secession. I would never support secession. Because what you see, I believe that we're a diverse country already. And according to even my belief as a Muslim, the way God created us, God created land before man. And we all came from a source. We came from sand, and that is why we'll be buried and back into the ground at sand. So, but we came from a source, and even according to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his last sermon was not to discriminate. We are one. We don't say we need to live together as as one. We have lived together before. It is not because we are facing a challenge today that we believe that okay, because some people are being profiled as maybe kidnappers, then they have to break away. Then everybody becomes a kidnapper. No, it is not like that. Truly, during this last Christmas in my constituency, I visited an area called the Wajawa local government, where we had series of cases of kidnapping. And on that day, I was visiting from one home to another to visit victims in order to understand the modus operandi of these bandits, and also to find a way as a people how we can be able to rise up to that challenge, not just give it to the government, to do. From there, I was able to identify that, okay, people, stop going out very late in the night. If you want to go out, don't go out by yourself. Make sure you move in companies and everything like that. So after doing that, I had to call a meeting with the traditional ruler, with the state security agents, that is DSS, police, the NSCDC, and the Fulani community. Right. And they agreed as well that the people that are doing this, yes, even if they are Fulanis, they are not Fulani that have lived in the area before. That there are other people, there are Fulani that are infiltrating the forest. And I supported them by giving them computers, by giving them biometrics, and make them to come and do registration. Every Fulani there should come and register. How long have you been staying there? What do you do here? What is your name?
Let me get Mr. Akoyibo to give us a sense of this, perhaps he will give us his final thought on the program. So when we talk about restructure, like I said, it means different things to different people. State policing is on that list also. What do you make of that kind of recommendation, and how do we go about it? That's the most important thing.
Well, one thing is very clear. Restructuring is not synonymous with secession or secession, whatever you call it now. Now, what I'm trying to say is that if there is the policy of non-inclusion, lack of inclusiveness in the government, that could give rise to this call for restructuring. And if the essence of restructuring is to enhance inclusiveness in the government, and I think it's something one should embrace. One should not run away from restructuring. Restructuring is not injurious to the system. Rather, it will promote growth, it will promote collective interest, collective support towards the system. So I think it's a good idea to restructure. If what they have, I don't know the details of what they really want, but if the essence of restructuring is to ensure that there's the inclusiveness in governance and all of that, and then that's the good way to go about it.
All right. I think the governors of the southern region have spurred us to speak more about some of these issues they've brought up today. And in the coming days, this is going to generate a lot of conversation. But most sincerely, thank you. DIG, Marvel Akwoibo, thank you so much. It's always good to see you. Thank you so much, Honorable Shina Pella, for coming tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
But that's our show for today, everyone. Man, thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.